Most sellers think pricing their home high protects them. It doesn't. It's actually the fastest way to lose leverage, lose buyers, and end up chasing the market down. The worst part is, it feels like the safe move at the time. Today, I want to show you the number one pricing mistake sellers make and how to avoid it so you can sell with less stress and better results. The biggest pricing mistake sellers make is not pricing too low. It's pricing based on hope instead of buyer behavior. Most sellers do not wake up trying to make a bad decision. They look at online estimates. They look at what their neighbor listed for. They think about what they need to walk away with. And they assume that starting high gives them room to negotiate. That feels logical. But in the real market, that strategy usually does the exact opposite of what sellers want. Sellers think in terms of value. Buyers think in terms of comparison. A seller looks at their home and sees upgrades, memories, and effort. A buyer looks at your home and compares it to every other option in the same price range. That difference in perspective is where most pricing problems start. Here's what most sellers do. They choose a price that feels safe, something a little above what they think the home is worth, just to test the market. Testing the market sounds harmless. It sounds cautious. It sounds like you're protecting yourself. But what actually happens is very different. The moment your home goes live is when it gets the most attention it will ever receive. The first 7 to 10 days are the most powerful days of your listing. That is when every serious buyer in your price range sees it at the same time. If the price misses during that window, you do not get a reset. You get labeled. Buyers do not say, maybe they're just starting high. They say something must be off. And once that thought forms, it's very hard to undo. Here's the part most sellers do not realize. Buyers do not search it by exact price. They search in ranges, 400 to 450, 500 to 550, 550 to 600. If your home is priced just above the range where it belongs, the buyers who would have paid full value never even see it. You're not rejected. You're invisible. The invisibility is far more dangerous than a low offer. This is why the number one pricing mistake is not being aggressive, it's being misaligned. Now let me explain how buyers actually decide. Buyers decide emotionally first and logically second. They walk into a home and think, this feels right, or this does not. Then they look at the price and justify that feeling. If the price feels too high for what they just saw, they do not negotiate. They move on. If the price feels fair or competitive, they lean in. That's why strategic pricing is not about pushing the number higher. It's about positioning your home where buyers feel comfortable acting. Another mistake sellers make is believing that price reductions fix everything. They think, if we do not get activity, we can just drop the price later. But here's what usually happens. You start too high, you get a little activity, weeks pass, you reduce the price. Now buyers don't see a newly priced home, they see a home that failed at a higher price. So instead of excitement, you get skepticism. Price reductions do not create urgency. They often confirm doubt. This is why the best pricing strategy is not high and hopeful. It's intentional and competitive from day one. Let me give you a real-world example. Two similar homes in the same neighborhood, same size, same style, same school district. One launches above market because the seller wants to test the market. The other launches where buyers are actually writing offers. The first home sits. The second home gets showings right away. The second home gets competition. The second home often sells closer to asking or even above it. Same product, different strategy. Now let's talk about the emotional trap sellers fall into. Sellers often say, we can always come down, but buyers never come up to yesterday's price. Once a home is perceived as overpriced, it's very hard to change that story. That's why the safest strategy is not protecting your pride, It's protecting your position. Correct pricing does three important things. It attracts attention. It creates confidence. It builds urgency. Overpricing does the opposite. It limits exposure. It creates hesitation. It invites low offers later. Now, here's another misconception. Strategic pricing does not mean underpricing. It does not mean giving your home away. It means aligning your price with buyer behavior and market reality so that buyers compete instead of waiting. The goal is not to get lucky. The goal is to create leverage. Leverage comes from demand. Demand comes from alignment. This is why professional pricing is not just pulling three comparable sales and picking a number. It's understanding condition, layout, timing, competition, and buyer psychology. Two homes on the same street can have very different price responses depending on presentation and timing. That's why pricing and presentation always work together. A great price with poor presentation still struggles. A great presentation with the wrong price still stalls. They have to match. Here's a quick reality check. The market does not reward bravery. It rewards accuracy. Sellers who price correctly early usually sell faster and with less stress. Sellers who price emotionally usually spend more time chasing the market down. Now let's talk about what to do instead. Instead of asking, what do I want to get? Ask, where are buyers actually making decisions right now? Look at what is selling, not just what is listed. Look at how long homes are taking to sell, not just the highest sale. Look what buyers walked away from, not just what closed. That's how you avoid the number one mistake. You price based on behavior, not hope. You position your home where buyers feel confident acting. You use the first week of your advantage instead of wasting it. That's the difference between strategy and guessing. Now let me say this clearly. Every seller is afraid of leaving money on the table. That fear is normal. But the bigger risk is leaving buyers on the table. You only get one chance to launch your home correctly. You can always lower a price. You cannot rewind buyer perception. This is why pricing deserves more thought than most sellers give it. It's not just a number, it's a message. And the message you send with your price determines how buyers respond. If this is helpful and you want more straight talk guidance on selling in Richmond, make sure you subscribe so you can continue getting practical advice like this. So now let's recap. The number one pricing mistake sellers make is pricing based on what they want instead of how buyers decide. Buyers search in ranges, not exact numbers. The first 7 to 10 days are the most important days on the market. Overpricing limits exposure and creates doubt. Price reductions do not restore urgency. Correct pricing creates attention, confidence, and leverage. Pricing and presentation must work together. Strategy beats hope every time. If you're thinking about selling and want help avoiding this mistake, I'm happy to help you look at your home through a buyer's lens. I can show you where your home fits in today's market and what pricing strategy gives you the best chance for a strong result without unnecessary stress. If you'd like that guidance, reach out and I'll walk you through it. No pressure, just information, so you can make the best decision for your situation. In the comments, tell me, what worries you most about pricing your home? Pricing too high or pricing too low?